Man, welcome back. Season 1, Episode 3, of course, with your guy. It's none other than Coach Tony on the Pull Up Podcast Show. And tonight we've got a magnificent guest. Again, it's like serving up curveballs to a rookie, man. We're putting them out the park. So, but before we get into this guest, Val, you know what to do. Drop it. About the park. So, but before we get into this,
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. It's the Pull Up Podcast.
Man, welcome back to the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, Coach Tony. Tonight, I'm just excited. Hopefully you guys are coming off of a good Super Bowl weekend. I didn't fare too well. Man, I was trying to go against Patrick Mahomes, but the boy was, I think, 11-1 against the spread. We're going to get some opinions on that as well. But my guest tonight hails from none other than Naptown. For you guys who don't know, that's Indianapolis. Coming by the way of Cathedral High School, Ball State University, Houston Oilers, Tennessee Titans, all safety, all pro. Man, this guy did it all. Super Bowl appearance. Man, let's bring my boy on this show. Let's talk to him. None other than my man, Blaine, Hitman Bishop.
Appreciate that, man.
Hey, B, you know how we have to say your last name very quiet. When you hit, man, they don't see you coming.
Oh man, that was back in the day. I think they saw me coming.
Right.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on your Pull Up Podcast, man. It's an honor and a pleasure, man, and bringing out the Naptown. And actually, the NBA All-Star Weekend is coming up this weekend, and I'm sure you know that, being in the basketball arena.
Yeah, I already know. I'm just glad that they kind of this year is supposed to be going back to the old format this year, Blaine. I think they're supposed to go back to some, the regular format where it was before, because it wasn't working out, letting the guys choose the teams they want to play on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, basketball players, man, they the best athletes in the world, man. I'm always fascinated to watch some of the things they do in the air and the gravity and how they toward their bodies and stuff, man. It's like, man, that's a special deal there, man. There's a handful maybe in the NFL, but it's all of them like that in the NBA.
Right. And for a lot of you guys listening to the show tonight, man, it's my man right here, Hitman Bishop, and we on the Pull Up Podcast Show. Make sure you like the show, share it with your friends, and more importantly, subscribe to it. And a lot of people that know Blaine real close, like myself, no, he's definitely into basketball. I mean, this guy shows up to my basketball camp, talks to the kids. I was really shocked, to see him in the basketball and know it a lot in that space. But it's real good because it lets people know, even though you're doing what you're doing, sometimes you got to expand that mentality and that mindset. So that's good. Have you always been into basketball as well as football, Blaine?
Well, I was always into basketball. You grew up in Indiana, man. Basketball was the thing back in my day. And, I got the chance to go to high school with Sean Woods, who went to Kentucky, the point guard there. He thought he hit the game winner versus Duke. And then they threw the long pass to Leitner. So we had some really talented players. Noble Earl Duke, he was fascinating, sharp guy, but it could, get up over the rim. And I mean, the list goes on. Another guy, Chris Huffins, he ended up being a bronze medalist in the Olympics in the heptathlon, or one of those ones where you do all the sports.
Oh, yeah.
All the events. Yeah, do all the events. He was on that, man. But so we had a slew of great players, man. So, yeah, I was very fortunate to be around a lot of basketball. I played all the way through high school. So, but I was never a great player. I was a good player, but I wasn't, I wasn't a great player like those guys. So, but I was a pretty good, I made all city, all state, all metro in high school. And so I was pretty decent.
I tell you, the only slip up that you forgot to mention was your boy Greg Olin up there. Those
guys. I mean, there was guys all across the state. I mean, we talking about Alan Henderson, Montrose, who just passed away.
Yep.
Let's see, Glenn Robinson, Big
Yeah,
Dog
big dog
Robinson.
up by
Uh,
the GI.
I mean, when they, now they got Aaron Gordon. He's still, Gordon. He's still in the league right now.
Yep.
He's from Indianapolis. Man, I mean, the list. I know I'm forgetting some guy. It was a whole bunch. It was a slew of them that ended up making the NBA. But yeah, we Indiana basketball back then, boy, that was woo-wee. That
But
was real good.
that early Bobby Knight. That was when they say you came Bobby Knight a kid.
Yeah. And at Ball State, we had, some guys that had, tough, short stints, but Chandler Thompson was really unique. But
Yep.
yeah, we had some guys. We made it to the Sweet 16 when I was in college my sophomore year. So that was a big highlight there at Ball State.
Oh yeah, then your boy Bonzi Wells come right behind there and put some numbers up over.
Bonzi, yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, Bonzi, yeah, he was the real deal, boy.
Yeah, he did his thing. And speaking of Ball State, with a lot of guys, you come up out of Nap, you coming out of Cathedral, you running. Did you even have the a mindset at that time with because back in the day you had to develop that work ethic. Did you have that mindset to say, I'm going to go on and play college football or basketball or something like that? When did that bug kind of hit you in high school that you knew you had that it to go on to the next level?
Well, I think it was a lifelong dream that I wanted to play. I just wanted to play Division I football there, Tony, man, and that's all I really want to do. I was a big fan of Notre Dame at that time. It was Cathedral Fighting Irish, and it was Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So that really was a dream of mine. And I didn't know if I was going to get a chance to ever go there or anything like that. They said I could walk on, but I never thought people who played with me in high school. I never thought I'd get a shot even at the league. And to be honest, a lot of people don't know this, so I'm about to tell you a little surprise. I wasn't highly recruited, and I just went over. I made all city, all metro, all state. I was a running back, cornerback in high school. So I ended up going to a Division II school my freshman year, not being highly recruited, going to school with two other guys that went to high school there with me, Scott Evans and Al Keogh. And we went to St. Joseph's College. It was another private Catholic school in Rensselaer, Indiana. By the way, you knew Rensselaer, but I went to the school and never visited and didn't even know where Rensselaer, Indiana was. Yeah. So that's kind of the story there. And then, I went there. I was pretty upset because I wasn't highly recruited. I was thoroughly disappointed. It was a really low spot in my life there, man. I was so hurt. I think I cried a couple of nights. So I just kept grinding. I was a hard worker and ended up going there. And then 4 games in, I got a shot to actually play running back and defensive back in the game there because I played running back and defensive back in high school naturally. And but I was always just kind of the breakaway threat guy. They give me 5 carries and I have 100 yards. And they never give me the ball again.
I don't know why. They said that you get 200 on a night.
Nah, they that's one thing about Cathedral. It taught me a lot about being a true teammate, what it was all about. Because I grew up in the projects, and so I thought I should get the ball all the time. Didn't get the ball all the time, so that was adjustment. So I learned how to block, and then that's how I learned how to play defensive back. To be honest, I'm pissed off that I'm not getting the ball, so I'm gonna take it out on somebody else. So I got a chance to start. They had a couple running backs injured, and so I got to play offense and defense. It's about the 4th game there, and I scored 4 different ways: return a punt, 2 touchdowns, run the ball, intercept the ball for a touchdown. So I'm telling you this story because this is at St. Joseph's College. We were called the Pumas. After the game, which I was not recruited, and my coach told me I wasn't a Division I player.
Right.
Literally after this game, 2 NFL scouts told me, the Jets and the Giants, that I was an NFL prospect.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 games in.
That's got to be mind blowing. That's got to be mind blowing. You stayed at a D2 school.
It really was. I thought they were. I said, what? I said, you sure you talking about me? They're like, nah, you the only one out there with the bow legs. That was you. So, and they came to see another guy on the other team. I don't even know who the guy was, but I didn't think anything of it at the time. I was just kind of like in a daze, and then I went on about my business and kept on playing the rest of the season until I made Division II All-American as a freshman. And so then, this shows you a little bit who I really am. And I went back to my high school. Yeah, it did. I was like, okay, it justified what I thought about who I was as a player. And so I went back to my high school coach, who was also the president of the school, Mr. McGinley, and asked him, was I a Division I football player now?
What was his
And
answer?
he said, absolutely.
Right.
You know what I really wanted to say was, what changed in 5 months?
Correct. Exactly. Because 5 months
Nothing
ago, you
changed.
just told me I need to go around the corner.
Right. Yeah. I was an honor student. I was the captain of the team. So there was, so I just, so he said, absolutely. So he helped me out. I was a single parent home. I needed all the help I could get.
Right.
And he said, you can go to, IU, Ball State, or Indiana State. So Indiana State's football program's not that good. And he says, IU, you'll probably have to sit and wait to, play. At Ball State, you could probably start right away. So I said, call Ball State. So he called Ball State, got the guy on the phone, go up to Ball State, and then I walk on there. I had walk on there only for a semester. I took a huge risk. My mom said she could probably she could do one semester, hopefully a year, but after that, it's over.
So young.
So I rolled the dice and gambled on myself, and so did my mother and all her siblings and aunts and uncle. Everybody, they did everything they could to make sure that I went to school, and I ended up getting a scholarship after that first semester. And then they told me I played every position. I couldn't. The rules are different then. You transfer. You had to, no matter if you move up or down, it didn't matter. Right.
Yes,
so I had to sit out, but I practiced every day.
Right.
And at every position. I mean, it depends. I was kind of the scout team guy. So I played quarterback. If there was the option guy, I played running back. I played wide receiver. I played defensive back. So after that semester, Coach Rick Minner, who was the D coordinator at the time, he's bounced around. His son actually was the Michigan DC this past year.
Oh,
and,
okay.
His son went up to Chargers now. He's going up there with Harbaugh.
Oh, yeah.
That's his son, Rick Minner, and he's been at Notre Dame twice, head coach Cincinnati. He's bounced around, been all over the place, but he's retired. He just retired last year or so, a couple years ago. And so he was the DC there. He sat me down and said, "You're going to you want to compete to start at corner, or do you want to be third string running back?" And I said, "I'm not third string, nothing, but I know, I'd rather compete to start, even though my heart and passion was always going to be a running back. That's what I always thought I was. I'm still always believe that. I would never made it to the league at no running back. I was too small, but
right. You had it right here.
Yeah, in my heart. So, I did what, I wanted to get on the field. And by the way, two of those running backs both got into the NFL that was ahead of me too, by the way. Bernie Pomeroy and Corey Croom, both ended up playing in the NFL. And but when he told me I was going to have to compete to start, I kind of looked at him. Just remember now, I'm 19.
Right.
Yeah, I'm 19. And, and you
coming out of a D2 school that just told you moving over here to the MAC, for those that don't, the Mid-American Athletic Conference. So you're in the MAC playing, and he's telling you that you got to come in and put in some work.
Right. After watch me practice. And mind you, he doesn't understand who I am. I was scouting him too.
Right.
So when he said you can compete to start, you know what my answer was? This is 19. This shows you where my mind was. I was focused and driven like no other. I said, compete with who?
He's not for that people.
Yeah. Because actually some guys that came out of high school the same year I did, two of them started. And I'm like, so now I was hot I said, they recruited these dudes over me? And nothing. I like those dudes, but they wasn't better than me. I knew who was better than me.
They weren't all Metro. They wasn't doing what I was doing.
Yeah. He said, don't worry about that. You'll be fine. I said, all right. So I went out there and played corner and ended up, making all conference and all that. But and then I didn't even know I was an NFL scout. I mean, getting scouted till my senior year after the season was up. Next, they invited me to the Blue Gray, the Senior Bowl, the Combine.
Yeah,
I didn't know any of this at the time. They were like, "Oh yeah, 20 teams are here to watch." I said, "Why didn't y'all tell me?" You wouldn't have played no different, So, and I was a corner too, by the way. I had never played safety. I played it temporarily in high school when somebody got injured. I had never played safety till I got to the NFL, and that was really during my rookie year when a whole bunch of guys got hurt. So, but I was a boundary corner, which typically turns into a safety in the National Football League, and all I did was play press man to man and blitz. I do nothing else. that's
Plus,
what
you
I
was
did.
short and quick, so you
Yeah,
was already right there. If you get away from, I'm about to catch. You remember back in the day in Chicago and like in Indy, man, we play catch man, kill a man in the park. Wasn't no
yeah,
rules. Throw the ball up, whoever get it, get hit. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I,
That's how I used to be. So that's where the bones of the hitman and the toughness and the mental toughness that I had really grew there. Playing little league back in the day in the project of Baltimore apartments, man, and in the Boys and Girls Club that was right in front of our neighborhood. So
you
that
don't
really,
get playing on the street. You catch a pass and get hit on a car, park corners, and we used to
yeah,
play pothole to pothole, baby. You don't get hit.
yeah,
You get caught hit in the air. You get caught on one of them cars. You'll feel it.
yeah. So that was
Yeah.
kind of the start in the beginning, but that it still was another drive. I played in all those all-star games, and then I got to I got drafted last round, or 214th pick. I was pissed off about that. So I was pissed off for greatness with that because I saw all these guys go ahead of me that I played with in some of these games, and I'm going, well, wait a minute, now that guy was better than me, but this guy wasn't. I'm like, hold on, man. So man, my story on draft day, I went to the library and started studying for this test I had to get, man. And they called me, telling me they were gonna draft me, man. I said, I'm at the library, man.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I was at the library. They said, no, you need to get to your, it's gonna be flashing on the ticker. And I was like, man, so many people didn't call me today about talking about they were gonna draft me. I don't even know if nobody drafted me. So
Right. And
yeah.
then because NFL is different than NBA where you got multiple rounds. We're talking to my guy, Blaine, Hitman Bishop, on with Coach Tony with the Pull Up Podcast Show. We're gonna pay some bills real quick. We're gonna be right back. Val, you know exactly what to do. Let's go get these bills paid real quick. Man, we're on the Pull Up Podcast Show with your boy, Coach Tony, here with my guest, Blaine Hitman Bishop, talking football, NFL, everything else. I appreciate you. Make sure that you like this show, you share it with your friends. More importantly, you subscribe to the Pull Up Podcast Show with Coach Tony. Back to the
Are
show.
you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the KeySpot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAP. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
Man, back to the show with the Pull Up Podcast Show with my guy, Blaine Hitman Bishop, on air with us right now. Now, we were just talking about the NFL. So now you're sitting on getting drafted. You get out, you go to the old Houston Oilers at that time before they became the Tennessee Titans. Tell us how that was, because you're sitting there, like you said, you'd already gone through a situation where you're in high school. Coach tells you, you're no better than a D2 player. You submit to that, but knowing you're better than that, you go to St. Joe and put yourself in a good position by hard work. And there's something that you always talk about too, Blaine, even when you talk to my guys, and I see that you talk about on different things about the mindset. And you just mentioned that a moment ago. And putting your mind to something that you want to do, and don't let anyone around you change that atmosphere. So did you have that mindset at that point once those calls start coming in that, okay, going to the league, this like it's going to be a real thing? Now, where was your mind at then once you entered into Houston and now you with the Oilers?
Well, some people will be all happy and elated. I was happy and elated I got drafted. Don't get me wrong, but I was super driven, and I was out to prove something. I had more than a chip on my shoulder. I had probably a boulder. And, I'm like, I'm going down here, man. I'm in Houston. Nobody probably even heard of Ball State, and where is that? So that kind
put it on the map.
Yeah, that kind of drove me, and I was driven and wanted to prove that I belonged. And when I got there, though, it was, I'm not gonna lie, it was the hardest thing I ever done in my life. And there was a part of me, especially when they moved me to safety, like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that, because I was more a nickel guy. And once that all happened, then I was like, man, I had to have a conversation with myself. Like, this is a little different, man. Playing safety. I mean, I'm talking about dudes they were really good. But
and this is the early 90s when the Cowboys was really popping at that time.
Yeah. Then we went and scrimmaged them, and I was like, oh man, and I was still playing the nickel then, but once they moved me to safety, I was like, oh, I got to start bringing the hammer, man. I mean, like for real hammer, like I got to hit people like there is no tomorrow. So that's what I'm talking about. Things kind of changed. Then I kind of went into, I'm about to change my body. I'm gonna put on 10, 15 pounds, and I'm gonna try to bring it. So, but all in all, I talk about the mental mindset because actually, I had enough athleticism to make it to the league, but really, my football acumen was really what took me to the next level. And to be able to read and react as quickly as I could was my advantage. And I studied, and I had a photographic memory, and it really helped me out a lot. I put a lot of time and work in that training camp that first year and studying all night and just being like, once again, continue to be focused and not thinking about all the other ancillary things or distractions, whether it's, going out and hanging out or all those things. I was kind of that guy who was just driven to say, I'm going to get one shot. I'm going to get one shot to do this, and I'm going to give it all I got, and I won't have any regrets if I don't make it. That was my whole mindset. I already had a job that I was going to be working at State Farm making, like $38,000 at that time.
Right. And people back in the day, that was nice. I mean, you was on the show talking about that today. Yeah. You were talking about, you sit in the back of that class and you got guys when they bring the new rules out, cats like, let me give me a quick 10-minute nap. And you like, slow down, man, get up. Hey, I need to know everything.
Yeah, I was paranoid that I was gonna miss something that I needed to know. So that was never gonna happen, and that stayed with me. But that was part of who I was and my DNA. So that was a different. So I wasn't surprised about the Super Bowl. So once I got there, they got me a position, and the sky's the limit, man. I took off. I got a huge break though. I have to say that. So you have to stay focused, be ready. I was a backup. And they really had 2 or 3 guys to go down for me to get an opportunity. When I say that, I'm talking about at multiple positions, guys who had experience being a league Pro Bowl guys. Bubba McDowell was the final guy. He was a Pro Bowl from the U. He's now the head coach of Prairie View.
Okay.
And he was so helpful in helping me turn into a player I was besides my coaches. And I'm thankful for it. And the next year, they released me, went on to Carolina, and then we moved to Tennessee. So that was a whole nother transition there too. But I kind of solidified
Tennessee was nice though. I love when y'all got here in Tennessee, man, and I still got that inaugural football, man. I still got that that brown and white mixed football everybody signed, man. That was when you guys came in. Man, that team, you had Thick Pen with you, a young Kevin Dyson, man, my boy Javon Kirsch, my boy Dennis Stalin. That. Woo, and you had that boy Steve McNair too, Mississippi boy,
and EG.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Look how thick my neck was, boy, right then, boy. My neck does not look like that right now.
You like that was put the shoulder pads on. Let's go to work right now.
That was for sure, man.
And then you coming off of, which is crazy because you're coming through these years. You sit up and say, man, okay, now. You put in your mindset, I'm not only going to play, but I'm going to stick it. I'm going to make it. So when did it hit you? Say, if I'm going to do this, I need to start, coming up here and trying to make these Pro Bowl teams or these all. So how did that click in your mind in terms of getting to that level?
Yeah, that was really interesting because that was never actually a goal, and that's going to sound weird to people, but I'm going to tell you what my goal was. Though I said I was going to be the best player that I can be. Now, my favorite player at the time was Ronnie Lott and Steve Atwater.
I remember Ronnie Lott
at the safety position. And, I'm not going to say I was going to try to be like them because I didn't have the ability they had. But I said I was going to be the best version of Blaine Bishop. And that's what you got when you saw me play. It was the best version of what I could, do and perform with the athleticism the God gift gave me. And man, I look back on my career and it just kind of surprises me a little bit how actually the Pro Bowls and everything that happened, because I didn't strive for that. I can say that heartfully and truthfully that in my heart, I just wanted to win and be the best I can be. I can't compare myself to other people, other players, and that's kind of how I rode. I was going to be the best I was going to be, and then I was really focused on us winning the Super Bowl. And I mean, it still burns me today that we didn't get there again. Not just the first time, because the first time was kind of, that was a little surprise shocker that we got all the way there. But that second year we lost to the Ravens. That one there, that sticks and burns in the playoffs. Because
even on that first one, that put Nashville, I think, on the map in general. Because if you remember when you guys got here, because I moved in about right around that same time, give or take to a year at that time, right after the tornado hit the city. Remember you stadium you guys were over in Memphis trying to decide, and they were debating whether they were going to either bring the Memphis Grizzlies over or the Titans, and the people here were like, nah, man, give us football. We know y'all can keep basketball, which worked out great for both cities. And that tornado ripped the stadium up. I never forget, I was working downtown Nashville the day that it came through, and then they rebuilt everything. So, and it was just incredible to then bring you guys from Houston into Memphis, now over to Nashville to play. And I got Val queued up. Val, drop that video for me real quick.
16 seconds to play. The Bills have taken a 16-15 lead on the Tennessee Titans.
Taken by Neal. He gives it to Watson. Taken by Dyson. Dyson's on the sideline. Dyson didn't play. And there is no play.
It's a miracle! Tennessee has pulled a miracle! A miracle for the Titans! Unbelievable!
One of the most unbelievable endings in the history of the NFL.
That gave me chill bumps there, man.
Man, let me tell you how what kind of a person you were. As you and I got a chance to grow our relationship. So my uncle, rest in peace, he just passed away. You guys played up in Indianapolis that year. Remember, opened up the playoffs. I had tickets. Me and my uncle drove all the way to Indianapolis to that game, man, and drove back the same night. It was crazy. The game was over. We ended up going down on the field because with me knowing with D. Stalls, my guy, and got a chance to talk to you. And my uncle had a hat and with a pen, and you autographed that hat for him, man. And man, you became his favorite player. Like it was when you did something bad. Oh, he was already cussing you out. You just didn't know. On Sundays at the TV, Blaine, what the hell you doing? It was funny, man. But that right there, and my guy Kevin Dyson, and they still argue that. Unfortunately, our guy Frank Wycheck is no longer with us right now. And people didn't know. I didn't realize that Tree handed the ball off to him, and whatnot. And they always argue and say that ball was actually a lateral and it was illegal because it was in front. They debated that for years, and obviously play stood.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, I was on that sideline. We practiced that play all the time, all season, with different people and players doing. Actually, I did it one time too. So it was interesting to see how that play actually worked. Alan Lowry, who was the special teams coach at the time, did that play back in the 60s when he was at Texas, at the University of Texas. So, yeah. And I didn't know the rule either. I thought that it was forward, but it's actually where you release the ball and then not the body. And so, and where he caught it was a straight line. So when they go back and review it, it's one of the top 5 plays in NFL history. So that was pretty unique to see that happen. But yeah, Indianapolis, man, I got to go home. I won state in high school on that football field. I felt like I was at home. their pastor there for the Colts was actually Father Kelly, who worked at Cathedral High School, who taught me a religion class there. So we have a special bond, and he's passed away. But I talked to him before the game. A lot of people went out there. We just saw just kind of walking around in shorts and T-shirts. And I said, man, who would have thought that Woody would have made it to the National Football League? Because that's what everybody called me when I was growing up in high school and in college, Woody Bishop. And he said, nah, everybody knew. I mean, only one person for sure knew, and that was Blaine Bishop. That's what's funny. So we just started laughing, and I said, "Oh, this is gonna be a good one." So I just felt at home, man. Jeff Fisher said that was the best game I played in my career. I didn't know that at the time. I was like, no, but you go back and look at the film. I did some pretty damaging things there against the Colts and Peyton Manning and crew with Wayne and Harrison and Ed Edge. So they had some dudes.
You know how that go, Blaine. You go home, man. Like when I got to, you get back to Chicago, man. It's like get back to now. You got to go home and show up, show out, man. It's like you said, you're back, you're comfortable, where you at, you know the surrounding. Everybody else with you may not know the situation, but and you got those extra eyes on you, man. So it's crazy.
I got all kind of tickets for that. Oh man, I had to hit up some of my high school buddies who had connection with tickets too. So I had about, I don't know how many people there. It was over 50 people there.
Oh man, we got my guy. Hey, Mark, what's up, Mark? Thanks for checking in on here, Mark. By the way, Blaine, my guy Mark Lee said, "What's up, Hitman?" It was great just seeing the classics of the Super Bowl. It gave him chills as well, man. So that's good. But got a good audience here. We talked to my guy Blaine, Hitman Bishop, with your boy right here, Coach Tony, on the Pull Up Podcast Show. We at halftime right quick. Val, we're going to pay some big news and some bills. We'll be right back at you on the third quarter.
Are you a small business owner looking to grow? Introducing the Key Spot mobile app. I'm Cynthia McAllister, owner of the IT company Quality SAT. Since 2016, we have been supporting small businesses and help them promote and share their businesses, services, and events across the country. KeySpot is more than just an app. We are a network providing community. KeySpot, connecting communities and supporting small businesses.
Man, back to the show. Val, the voice. What's going on, girl? You just snuck up in here because your team won last night. I already know.
And I would love to know what Blaine thought about the big game on yesterday. Back to you guys and back to Blaine Bishop. Welcome.
Appreciate it, Val.
And you heard that question right there. Everybody want to know. We're going to get into that Super Bowl talk in a second. But I had one of the people just hit me up saying, well, after the Super Bowl run, what happened that you didn't get an opportunity to finish out that career with the Titans? And of course, you and Freak both end up going on to Philly, like a year or so later with that, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It was a couple years later, and I ended up playing the Titans that first game back here in Tennessee with the Eagles. So and the Titans won, by the way. That game, yeah. But we had a really good squad there. We made it to the NFC Championship with the Eagles there. So, hey, that's the way it goes. It's a business. You got salary cap and everything else. And
right.
I was franchise tag player 2 or 3 years before that. So it was a big deal. But hey, the Titans went on and went to the AFC Championship too. So it worked out well for both teams. So.
I'm hoping that they can get back to them glory days, man. So, and speaking of glory, nephew represented for Nashville last night. Juwan Jennings did his thing over with San Fran and all that. And what was your opinion on that game last night, man? I mean, to me, it was one of the best Super Bowls that I've seen that physically went, that was able to capture your attention. Sometimes, Blaine, you get a blowout. People cut the TV off, start eating popcorn and food and chicken wings. Other times it's not interesting. But, Usher did the halftime show, took his shirt off for the women, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those games that it was a little surprising. Actually, I'm gonna say who I picked. I actually thought the 49ers were going to win, but it's hard. If I was betting money, I would have bet for Mahomes, as I said on my show on the Blaine and Mickey show there on 104.5 The Zone, because you never bet against Mahomes. But I really thought the 49ers had the better team, and it looked that way early on too. They kind of out physical them early on, but they were only up like 10-0 when it felt like they were dominating the trenches and everything else. And that was a recipe for disaster to me in the second half, and I knew that were going to come to roost. And then had a couple unfortunate, the football gods went on their side with the botched on the foot on the punt return there. So that was that's kind of changed the whole momentum of the game. And then Mahomes all of a sudden start getting into a groove. You could see it because the first half he was looking kind of rusty. It was kind of odd and weird. His timing was off. I don't know if they were doing some things to confuse him. And then Bosa and Young were getting after him on the D line, and then in the second half he showed why he's the greatest.
8-2, being down by 7 at halftime, and 11-1 against the spread. Now I know some things that I'm a coach, man, and I probably would have lost my mind if I don't know if I had a couple of people say that your boy Kelsey was showing out for Taylor Swift, when he bumped Reed on the sideline, man. What you think about that situation?
Well, that's a great question. We talked about that a little bit. Andy Reid was there, the head coach at Philadelphia when I was there, man. What an awesome dude. And I'm glad he's getting all the accolades and he's going to go down as one of the great coaches. I'm glad he got the first one. Then they got over the nod. I knew he would look at that as he wants players like that. He wants guys to voice their opinion. Coming in, Kelsey's a superstar player. Came over to him probably and said, hey, man, you got to get me the ball. I need to be out there. He only had one catch for 1 yard at that point in time. Right. We were talking about the, second half there. So, and then all of a sudden, he's over 100 or close to it. So I didn't think Andy was going to have an issue with it, but I know the media and everybody else was going to, take it and run with it. But he is an outstanding human being and a great coach and really good dude. I can't say anything bad about him. Man, I wish him the best. And Spags was my DB coach, who was the DC in this game. Spagnola, he was the DC there, and he's got 4 rings now. Spags was my coach, and I just texted him. He just texted me back today, actually, just this evening. I knew he was busy, and I just kind of let you in a little bit, what I said to Spags there. Where'd it go? Right here. Oh, here it is. I said, hey, man, 4 rings, the best DC in NFL history. Congrats. That was me. He said, thanks, Blaine. Very blessed. So humbled by it all. And, hey, the defense of the Chiefs, they stood up all through the playoffs all season. They really carried the team, to be honest, all season. Right. But that's everybody pays attention to the offense, and deservingly so, especially the quarterback.
The defense gonna put them rings. That's why you move from the offense over to the defense. That the defense gonna put it, because if you can't stop nobody, then we got a long game, or we got a game that's like out of reach. But if you can shut me down, and if I score and you can't score, then the advantage is me.
Yeah, you're right. So that. And then they came through at the end. Andy Reid made some adjustments, and you could see it on the field. And then, the rest is history, man. The overtime rules and everything else have changed. So they gave an opportunity. Should you have taken the ball first, or should you have waited to see what they can do? I'm sure everybody
thought about that. Yeah, so that was kind of tricky, because I was having to explain to some people last night watching the show. They're like, well, it don't matter. They come down and kick it. I said, well, it's not like college. College is going to put it on the 20-yard line. Everybody gets an opportunity regardless of the fact, unless you get 2 or 3 overtime, you got to go for the 2-point conversion. I said the pros is different, because if San Fran comes down and score a touchdown, ball game over. But if they only get a field goal, then the other team gets an opportunity to, get a drive as well. It was so crazy, because San Fran took the whole clock out and still came up short.
I know, man. That was insane. And, a lot of it changed because of that the Bills-Chiefs game. So both teams get an opportunity. And the reason, if you go first, which San Fran did, they drove the field, then you don't have the opportunity to see if you need to go for 2. And that's what the Chiefs did, go down and score, and then they had the opportunity to. So you should have said that we'd rather defer and let them go first and see what they get.
What you got to do, because Mahomes gonna come at you. Period.
Yeah.
He was going. He was
that
going
was gonna happen. Yeah.
He wasn't gonna mess around. He's trying to get this game. in and behind him and all that, man. And, you know, and it's crazy. And Vegas was rocking, man. Vegas got a little bit of everything. Shaq was out there with his little party on Saturday night, man, and that shut Vegas down, they said, on the strip. So, man, it was they've had, you know, the young ladies on the WNBA had their rings, the hockey teams had their ring. I mean, Vegas has been on the map this last year or two.
Yeah, Vegas. It's really shocking how in my day and I played there, you know, you couldn't even do anything like go to Vegas or gamble or any of that. And that's kind of
Right.
funny now how that's all transformed, and it's good for the league, and they see how much money they can bring in now. So
Sports betting. Sports betting, right?
Oh man, what is this? The first half comparisons? Wow, they had the same passing yardage. I didn't know that.
Yeah, same passing yard first half comparison. And that's why I said they locked down on defense. They were sitting nose for nose going into that second half, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's another reason. I think I'm getting a little KC. I wanted them to win it, you know, when they run their first one. I'm getting a little KC fatigue, and I'm a big Andy Reid Spags guy. But Brock Purdy, I think his story, I can relate to that story. And
yes.
being the last pick of the draft, and, you know, me being the last round, and then getting into the league. And then actually, that's what I love about the NFL. The best players play, man. They don't. No politics involved. You was a first rounder, you was a fifth rounder. The best player is always going to play, and that's what they're doing. And they have to admit, you know, they made a mistake and traded Trey Lance and everything else. But I think I kind of like that story because so many people doubted him even coming into this game, and I thought he played solid. You know, you can always play better, but hey, man, you know, you playing against the GOAT. I mean, I think Mahomes is going to be the GOAT, and you know, hey, you stood toe to toe with him and took him to overtime.
They took him over. And I think the play of the game to me in that was, you know, San Fran had him, Blaine, and they came off to Kelsey ran that slant. And he hit that slant. And they were, I think that was a 3rd and 5. He hits him with that slant and picks up about 30 yards on that thing to the left side and get him in field goal range. And then they tried to score a touchdown right back at him and, you know, miss. But if they get that stop, we're talking – it's a 4th down. It's a whole nother play ball game the other way.
Yeah, no, that was a big play. There was a lot of different big plays in the game, but if, coulda, shoulda, woulda, you know, that's kind of the way the games goes, man. And that was that's going to live with the 49ers for a long time. I mean, people forget the 49ers organization was one of the big time deals in our era. And they kind of haven't won in like 30 years. So it's kind of
since Jerry Rice and them boys.
Right. So, and just think they was in the, Super Bowl, a couple years ago. So they played the Chiefs then. And this is uncommon for the 49ers not to have a lot of success and then not have a ring. So it's going to be interesting to see how they follow this up, and then maybe we'll get a rematch.
My boy got a question for you. Mark says, how do you feel about the league in terms of how they take care of their retired players? He's looked at some things with a couple of people that he knows that's retired and done some stuff. But what are your thoughts on what the NFL does once the players are, hung up the cleats?
Well, I don't know what he's referencing. But first, to be eligible for benefits and everything else, you have to play 4 years in the National Football League, and you have to contribute an allotment throughout your playing career. Now, there's been all kind of things with some of the guys' health. I think they've come a long way from the time when I retired, but I think they're doing as much as you can at this point in time. But there was a time I didn't think they did enough before, but I think they've kind of reached that point where they're definitely doing all they can, and under Roger Goodell's leadership. So they've done pretty good in the Players Association. But, there's always going to be points in time where certain individual cases aren't all the same, and some are underserved, whether they're having issues or not. But, the retirement plan is pretty beneficial. You got joint replacement policies in place. You have healthcare when you finish. You only get 7 years, I think 7 or 9 years of health insurance. So that's probably the only thing I think should be
changed.
Yeah, I think it should be changed. Yeah, I think it should be for life. especially
for
what
life. They got the money. That logo got the money for that. You know what I'm saying?
So that's
that
the
logo
only
definitely
issue
got
I
the
have.
money.
You know, so yeah, that's it. So, yeah, but you
Right.
know, everything's not perfect.
Exactly. And this picture here, I'm glad Val pulled that up. You know, on the other side of the coin, you retire, you hang the cleats up, and you jump into broadcasting. We're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about a little bit about that as we wrap up here. We're on the Pull Up Podcast Show with your guy, Coach Tony, and my guy, Blaine, Hitman Bishop. Val, let's bring this full quarter, pay a bill. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is Val the Voice Johnson, and I have a brand new ebook that's coming. It's called A DJ Saved My Life. It's the first ebook that talks about doing podcasting and how it saved my life. I'll go ahead and place the link to the ebook. It gets released on March 5th of this year. And so adding producer, podcaster, and now a published author. My many thanks to Queen Monique Lisa Johnson for the writing training that I've received. And I'm so excited about that. And now back to the show. Hey, Coach.
Hey, what's going on, Val? They sitting here chilling with me and my main man, Blaine Hitman Bishop, on the Pull Up Podcast Show. Make sure you share it. Make sure you like us. And more importantly, make sure you subscribe to the show. We're on the fourth quarter right here as we coming down the stretch. Blaine, I'm going to tell you something, man. This is something that you don't know. I appreciate the tidbit that you gave me earlier. If it wasn't for you, Mark, Wycheck, Mickey, and Paul Kaharski, I probably wouldn't be on this, man. You guys opened up the door, man. And you know, and for those that don't know, Blaine's on 104.5 The Zone here in Nashville. And I started calling that show years ago. As a matter of fact, do you remember when me and Wycheck got into it over the Predators and the Blackhawks? And the Blackhawks came. That was the year that the Bears came down and drank all the beer off of 2nd Avenue.
Oh,
and
yeah. How did that happen?
Hey, that was crazy. And so he and I get into it and whatnot, and we bet against the Blackhawks and the Preds, and obviously I won. That was the last time Blackhawks won the NHL, and he flies me to Chicago to the parade. Man, it was crazy. So when Coach T was born, it was actually born on 104.5 The Zone. I would have people around Nashville. Man, I heard you on the radio today. Yeah, you on there and Blaine and this and that. So it was cool. And it was also cool, man, that like doing basketball season, able to call in, and you guys were football guys and kind of give you the basketball take of things on there, and, you know, kind of becoming a household name. And then when this spun off for me to do this, man, it became easy, kind of like what you said, put my mind to it, want to do it. And man, it's been rolling ever since, man. So if it wasn't for you, I appreciate that. You know, Coach T on this side of the house with me, probably wouldn't have been born.
I don't think I'll take credit for that, man. I think you was born to do that, man.
But you were on the Blaine and Mixer. You guys get it in the afternoon, man. And I really appreciate you guys get all type of callers and different things of that nature that talk. And also, people don't even know this. You know, me and Blaine was like Batman and Robin, as we call ourselves. We had a little rodeo show early on in the 2000s where we were going out to these high schools talking recruiting and everything we won't even talk about the company, but the sports company had put us out, and man, that was pretty cool. And now look at it, Blaine. Everybody got NIL deals, man, and the portals going on.
Isn't it? We was having the time, man. That was a pretty unique time, man. So I knew the owner there, but yeah, man, he sold out. So they do it they own way. But
correct, they do it their own. Man. Hey, you got a chance
to win. We've been knowing each other for a long time.
For a minute. Hey, man, that's that Midwest, though, man. That's that Midwest. You know how we do. And I bet you don't even know this point. Birthdays a week apart. That's why we get along. We both Leos.
Yeah. What are you, 31st? What are you?
Yeah, I'm on the 30th.
30th. Okay. All right.
Yeah. 30th of July, man. So we got. Yeah, exactly. You know how that roll. But the crazy part about it, man, is your philanthropy and doing different things around the area for Nashville is just huge. And you connected with my guy Al Smith on the Titans with the Gear Up program. Talk to us a little bit about that and what that program's objective is to do in the area here, and let people know a little bit more about Gear Up Tennessee.
Well, first and foremost, Al Smith, when I was a rookie, was his last year with the Oilers at the time, and he was a mentor for me, and I kind of followed in his footsteps, and then his leadership style and his leadership that he had and he provided for us there was really vital, important in my development as a NFL player. So we've always kept in touch and good friends still today. And he's our president here in the state of Tennessee for the NFL Alumni Health Program. And, what it's all about is, you should refer to your doctor for anything, but, getting vaccinated keeps yourself healthy. And so and stay informed and make informed decisions about the vaccination, and, just make sure where you get your information is the correct information. So, yeah, man, I'm an advocate for health. And there you can see the picture there with Warren Moon. I got to play with my rookie year.
I got a chance to meet Warren at that event. That was real cool, and Delaney Walker and Brad. That's my boy, B Hop.
The freak right there, CJ2K, man.
CJ2K, man. Yeah. Looked like he could still run the ball too.
Man, CJ2K he was an explosive runner, man. He may be the best in the Titans as far as start, stop, go, and explosion, man. It was must-watch TV. And Delaney Walker, who we just had on today on my show on 104.5 The Zone, man. Just elite level players, man. So I'm hoping, man. So hopefully I'll know some of those guys, maybe a couple of them will get into the Hall of Fame. I could say I got a chance to play with some Hall of Famers.
Yes, sir. And speaking of that, you got yourself into the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame in 2018, man. How was that induction to you?
Oh, man, that was super exciting, man. I really paid tribute and homage to all my aunts. I grew up around a lot of women, and they were all brought different roles to my development. And
Auntie's not easy. Auntie's gonna tell you like it is.
Yeah, and I had some, and that were really, let alone my mother, but my grandmother. But so I kind of broke them all down there, and it was a tribute and an honor for what I've done here in the community and with the Titans. So yeah, that was huge and big for me, man, just to get that notch under my belt. And as I said before, I never strived. Maybe I should have strived for bigger goals. I never even thought about like Hall of Fame, things like that, or just being in someone's Hall of Fame, and just to get inducted into that. And then I'm in the Senior Bowl Hall of Fame and high school. So it's been a heck of a run for the Bishop family, man.
Man, that's good, man. And and I appreciate you too, man, because I remember getting Chase, man, when he was about I think freshman in high school, working about basketball training, man. You remember that? We go back. Hey, man.
I know you were trying to help my son. You trying to convince him that he was a basketball player. I said, you're a basketball player, man. You're gonna be too short. You're gonna be too short, man. But tell him, shoot these threes. I said, man, as soon as you start shooting them threes and you miss it, they're going to bitch you, man.
Man, and now he's going on to play college football himself, man. Proud of him and everything, man. You definitely got to be proud of him, man, and coming on through and everything, man. So it's been absolutely phenomenal, man.
Yeah. He's having a great time at UT Chattanooga, man. And he's playing defensive back now. So that's kind of been a transition because he played mostly he played really an all wide receiver. So he's finally getting the drift of what it's like to play defensive back. So he's making huge progress. So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. Well, you got a good teacher, man. You got a good teacher. It's like, like Shador be saying, man. Right, like Shador saying, what is it like being a quarterback with your dad?
Yeah, I'm cool with the mindset. I'm gonna help him with the mindset, but I let the coaches do the coaching, man.
Right. You ain't like Dion. Dion gonna tell Shador what's up.
Oh man, nah. I'm gonna keep it real and I'm gonna keep it honest with him on it. I'm playing in a game, but hey man, it's a different era, different time. You got to know how to push the right buttons. With this, I call them Gen Z, generation. And if you want to get the most out of them, as you know, in training and coaching, that's the way of the world. So you gotta, you can't go old school and OG on them.
Exactly. You know, like I said, they came Bobby Knight kid. And it's funny, I didn't have a chance to catch you. Cause I'll be wanting to do that sometime, man. I swear, man, which is like, I'm gonna lose a whole team. I'm gonna lose a whole team. I grab a chair blade and throw a chair out on the floor, man. Can't do that no more.
That
Can't
used
do
to
it
be
no more.
great.
But
Just imagine if somebody did that today, Tony, man. That would be insane.
man, Bobby
They
just
might-
grab you in the chest, come up to you, look at you in the eye, nose on nose, man. You can't even do that. These kids will fall
you
out.
liable to get arrested, man. You better,
Yeah, it was-
better stop that, man.
it's crazy, man, and they're learning because I'm now, I'd have moved over to, I'm now, man, took the spot. I ain't had a chance to talk to you and Mickey on the show, man. I'm now over at St. Cecilia High School across from MBA. And,
I know
loving
where
it.
you at. You know, I
Yeah,
keep up. I pay
first year.
attention.
Did a good job. I'm proud of my girls, man, finishing up the season and all that.
Yeah.
And from beginning to end, made strides. And I tell you, next year, I'm planning to hopefully make some noise in Nashville with them. And we won't come back like we did this year. That's for sure.
That's what's up. All right, man.
And like I said, the mindset.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. That's the only way, man. I think it's a undeveloped part of playing in sports. You know, you got to have some failures, and you got to know how to respond to failing. Actually, and see, having those hard conversations. Me not getting recruited, that was failing in my mind. And so I kept grinding and fighting. And then next, you know, something good happened to me just in a short window there of a 6-month window. So that kept building me up to where I eventually got to do, you know, get a shot at the league, and then understanding how those failures were going to help me along the way. And I was going to still fail, but I knew I could respond and just got to forget about it and take lessons from it and then move forward. And I think that really was vital in my whole entire development. And it's okay to fail. It's okay. It's not about failing. It's about how you respond to the actual failure.
Correct. But man, I tell you, man, I appreciate you. I got my guy, man, Blaine, Hitman Bishop, Mr. Tennessee Tide, Houston Oilers, Philly Eagles, 3-time All-Pro, man, Hall of Fame into the Tennessee sports and all that. And then some that we could probably go talk another hour and you guys won't even know what we're talking about. But I got to let him get out of here because he got to get to bed and got early to.
Hey, yeah, man, it's past my bedtime. I'm getting old, man.
Right. Hey, Val, before
we want him to come back. Now, why did you put his business in the street like that? We want him to come back. I apologize.
He threw me right in front of the bus right when it went by and just ran me over 4 times.
With the headlights on and everything. Why are you doing that, Coach? We want him to come back.
Yeah,
hey, you know it's all love. He know it's all love. He know that.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. So, Val, you got a book or something? What you got going on, Val?
Yeah, Val got. She writing books over here, Blaine.
Yeah, you need to help me out. I'm trying to. I don't know. I can't write, so I'm trying to figure out how to write my book.
People, and I like what you said just now about it's not about failing or winning. It's about what you do in your mindset. And like I've definitely been
to failure. Yeah.
How do you respond to failure? And that's something that I find very motivating, especially when, you know, you want things to go in a certain way and it doesn't. And it's like, am I going to stay stewing in my own, or am I going to push past that fear or that disappointment and continue to be motivated to keep winning? And so we get it. You are the Hitman. I like it.
Yeah. Pull Up Podcast. Hey, so tell me how real quick, Tony, how you came up with the name, the Pull Up Podcast. I know that's a shot. I mean, like, what was the thought process behind all of that?
Hey, I'm gonna be like, it's the funny part about it, Blaine. It had nothing to do with basketball. So I get these guys, the young cats, always, you know, the new jargon is, hey man, you want to holler at me, pull up on me. Right?
Oh, I got you.
Right? Pull up this. So when I started looking at the name and me and Val was going back and forth, she said, you coming down the basketball court, it's a pull-up jump shot. And I said, yeah, but I just tell you, if you want to talk about the business, pull up on me. So it's a pull-up podcast, pull up on the jump at the same time.
Ah, okay. That's how she came up with the pull up in the name of her book. She pulled up on her name. How'd you pull up on her name?
DJ saved my life.
I see you, Coach Tony. Talk on Tuesdays.
Man.
Tomorrow we'll be back and we'll go into more detail on the entertainment side of things, the Usher performance for halftime, as well as some of the best Super Bowl commercials. And of course, I'm so grateful, Blaine, that you were here to kind of break down a little bit what happened with what happened at the Super Bowl. But definitely, I'm happy to say that I called it. I said it was going to be the Chiefs.
Oh, here we go, Blaine. Here we go. Oh
I'm
my.
going to rub it in your face.
Yes,
for
she
a
gonna
nice
rub it.
long time. Yes, I am.
I gotta buy some food now, Blaine. I gotta buy some food now, man.
Oh, yeah, I got to go to dinner. She get to pick the spot.
Man, I get to feed her. And the crazy part about it, she's in Chicago at home. So the next time I'm at home, I'm sure she's gonna hit me hard.
Oh,
Yeah, I am, and but it won't be too hard. I'm a Cheesecake Factory girl. That's what I love. It's no big deal, and I've changed a lot of my eating habits, so it'll be a salad for me. But
Hey, well, I'm gonna upgrade you on that, Val. I'm gonna go ahead and do Rosebuds on Rush. We're gonna go ahead and do that.
Oh, okay, we can go ahead and do that. And so this is my book that's coming out. A DJ Saved My Life. Both myself and Coach, we both DJ in a certain way. And of course, we all of us, including Blaine, host a show. Please tell us about the show. If someone wanted to hear your commentary, where can they find you?
Oh, yeah, you can get the app, the 104.5, the Zone app, space out of Nashville, the station. And we're on from 1 to 3, the Blaine and Mickey Show.
The Blaine and Mickey Show. And if you want to listen to it, you can go to iHeartRadio, type in 104.5 The Zone. It'll pop right up, or you can just go right to the station, and at the very top it says "Listen Now." You'll see all the shows. Because my boy Ron and all of them is right behind it.
Yeah. I have to say, man, I get a little bragging point here, man. They just came out with the ratings for the midday in the nation. We were 5th midday in the country.
I don't even. Once again, you've been doing it for a minute, man. That's. Hey, I'll be calling and talking to you and Mickey tomorrow about that, so you don't worry about it.
Yeah. So
if you could allow Tony to come pull up on your situation, that'll be great. He'll love that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, it's about to be off season, so for sure. So if he got time in his, his basketball schedule, it's the time.
We good right now. So I appreciate you, baby. Again, man, tighten up. She had to tighten up on the shirt tonight too. I don't normally, at the dress. I'm always using a different apparel. But I said, Blaine coming on tonight. Let me tighten up tonight real quick. Just drop that hat. Everything.
Tighten up.
That's right. Tighten up.
Ah, see, she like that.
She's down like that.
That means the Hitman is out. All
hey,
right, man.
Appreciate you, baby. Peace.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up, pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, it's the Pull Up Podcast. Show.